All right, so today I want to talk about the most basic financial planning concept, which is budgeting, right? It's the first step. You can't do anything unless you have a budget, unless you know what your discretionary income is. And the only way to figure out what your discretionary income is to know exactly how much money is coming into your household and exactly how much is being shelled out in bills, both fixed and variable expenses. Fixed being the, excuse me, always with the heartburn, man. Can't get over it. It's fixed expenses are the ones where you know exactly how much, right? Rent, mortgage, BGE, cable, things that are fixed, right? Things that are not going to change. You know exactly the amount that's coming out every month. Then you have variable things like going out to eat, groceries, gas, things that you can project pretty well, but you're probably not going to get the exact dollar amount, right? So you want to have those projections for what you think you're going to spend, and then you want to keep track of what you actually spent so you can make sure that your projections are getting more and more accurate as the time goes on. So I'm of the belief that there are certain aspects of personal financial planning that are just that, personal. And budgeting is one of them. Budgeting is one of those things where you have to take responsibility. And of course, it's easy for me to say that as a financial professional because I work in the financial services industry. Of course, I'm going to have my own budget, and I'm not going to expect anybody to help me with that, you know. But I mean, I'm a financial advisor, but I have a financial advisor because it's not always what you know. It's about having somebody that can take a high level objective view of what your financial situation is and provide some advice based off of not logic, or excuse me, not emotion and not beliefs, which is what we do with our own money. A lot of times when it's our money, we make very emotional decisions. When we have somebody that can take that objective view and make sure that we're making our decisions based off of logic, science, mathematics, and economics, that is why it's so important. But the thing is, I don't expect my financial advisor to comb through my budget and tell me that I need to stop, going out to eat, or cancel my Netflix subscription, or whatever it may be. Like, I'm not expecting him to tell me how to live my life. I come to him with my budget ready, right? And of course, if someone doesn't have a budget, I say, first, what are you doing? Let's get a budget, right? Let's do this. Let's make sure we know your numbers. But I definitely help them with that. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to tell them how to live their life. I'm not going to come back with a plan to stop, cancel your cable, cancel your Netflix, no more going out to eat, no more getting your hair done or your nails done, ladies. I wouldn't have very many clients at that point. So I always make sure people know it's not my job to tell you how to live your life, but it is my job to provide you with all of the factors and all the information to consider when you're coming to your own conclusions, making your own decisions, and budgeting is one of those things where, again, I can help you with the budget and set it up, but I'm not going to tell you how to live your life. You've got to make that decision yourself based off of the projections that we show. If you save X amount, you'll have Y after 20 years, 30 years, whatever it may be. And you say, okay, if I want to get there, I have to save this amount. I'm not saving this amount. We might have to make some sacrifices in the short term, right? Because that's the challenge with financial planning as a whole. How do I enjoy my today without having to sacrifice all of my tomorrow and become a burden on family because I didn't save enough money, and I'm end up being like 2 out of every 3 people that are retiring into poverty nowadays? Or I just have to keep working and then physically or mentally, until I physically or mentally cannot work, and become a burden on family or the government, right? But then it's also, how do I enjoy my tomorrow without having to sacrifice all of my today and be extremely frugal and not spend any money and never spend time with my friends and going out and having fun and just not have any fun so that I can enjoy my life in the future, right? That doesn't seem like a very enjoyable life. And there are different mindsets, right? You can have the mindset that, oh, well, tomorrow's not guaranteed. I'm just going to live day to day because any day could be my last. I could die at any moment. So I'm just going to live for today. Forget tomorrow, right? Or you can have the thought process and recognize that octogenarians are the fastest growing segment of the population, 80-year-olds. And we know that because of the medical advancements, most people are living well into their 70s, 80s, many times 90s nowadays, especially us young folks, because I'm assuming there's probably going to be more medical advancements. So we've got to make some sacrifices in the short term so that we can enjoy our future. Because if you're like me and you're not just worried about not being a burden on family, but having a significant positive impact on your family, being that go-to person for financial support and creating some substantial generational wealth, you're definitely going to have to make some sacrifices in the short term. And I'm an advocate of having a very specific plan for the near future and a much more general one for the long term, just because, you know, your life's going to change. You can't control everything. You're also going to evolve as a person as you grow, so your goals are going to change. If you ever written down your goals, if you have ever written down your goals and then looked at it, years in the future, you're like, what the heck, who was I? Kind of stupid goals that I have, you know what I'm saying? And so your goals are going to change, but at least having some semblance of what you want life to look like 20, 30, 40 years down the line, so you have something to plan for. Because a lot of the things that we want to do, the way that we want to live life long term, we have to start thinking and planning for it now. We ain't going to get any help from the government, most likely. And we're not getting any help from our employers, especially if you're an employer yourself, an entrepreneur, right? So that's where just the thought process that we have to make some sacrifices in the short term. And in order to do that, in order to figure out what we need to do, the budget. We have to know where our money is. So everybody has their different ways of doing it. Like I said, my girlfriend, she uses her notebook, writes it down every time. I use an Excel spreadsheet that I can manipulate with the, equations and stuff. Everybody has their own way of budgeting. So it's hard for me to just give somebody a budget and say, here, do this, because they might not like that way and there might be a different way for them, right? I always send people an Excel budget just to get them started and get them on that mindset, but that's just to get it started, right? I want you to create your own system. But yeah, I'm curious. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts? Do you think that a financial advisor should be the person to hold your hand through the budgeting process and, for lack of a better term, tell you how to live your life, or a better phrase? Or do you think that you should be taking responsibility for your budget and you should come to a financial planner with already knowing your discretionary income and just have him help you allocate that into the different financial vehicles that will help you achieve your goals? Right. Of course, again, my mindset is more towards the latter, but I'm sure some folks are on the former side, and I don't learn anything by talking to people that agree with me. So I want to see what's your ideal, financial advisor relationship, and what's your mindset around budgeting. So yeah, I hope this added some value, and there's a lot more to discuss when it comes to the budgeting and short-term savings and all that stuff. So I'm excited to add some more value there, but I hope this added value. I hope everybody is out there living their life to the fullest. And as always, it's all love. Definitely reach out. I would love to connect. And yeah, I'm excited for the next video.